focus on these cameras.
Yes, indeed.
Get your mats.
I'm walking.
Line up and you're walking wall to wall.
I'm walking.
Let's get this walk started.
So happy to be walking. Happy to be walking.
My daughter always says, Mommy, they know you're an amateur. They expect for your cameras to be off and crooked and unscented and everything. I said, well, if they're expecting that from me, they sure are getting it. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Getting it really. Really, really, really. Let me see. Sorry, y'all. But hopefully y'all have your headsets on and y'all are working out. Hopefully. Okay. I think I did something. Yes. Great. Why isn't? I was looking up at the sky. The clouds was covered all rock. I could see the rays trying to hit the earth. But those clouds was covered over Ra. So Ra wasn't so easy today, but we know Ra always isn't. Even if I ain't here. A lot of people ain't here. They don't see Ra no more. I'm here, I see it. So when I'm gone, there'll be people here seeing Ra. Unless the mad scientists and billionaires have their way and they start putting up stuff to block out the sun. You know, they say TV and the game shows and stuff like that, they talk about it, you know, like not affecting you in your real life. But since I was a child, every mad scientist has been trying to destroy the earth in some form or fashion. Now, the mad computer geek billionaire, both millionaire, he wants to control the sun, to say which way it shines, control the rays or whatever. I don't know, eventually you have to start paying him and everything because it's all about money. You know, countries that have to pay him a big ransom to get the sun that he's trying to block. Crazy scientists take over the world stuff that I used to see from when I was a child. But I want to end, I figured on our political talk, so put your headsets on, whatever you want to do. All you're supposed to see is my feet. See my feet? See my feet? That's all you're supposed to be focusing on. You put your headset on. You can put cotton in your ears. You can turn the volume down. So, getting back to the politics thing. As when I got off, something said, you know, they really didn't see what you were saying. Do y'all remember Sojourner Weaver used to do this thing with this space aliens? And the way the space aliens used to get in you, it was like a worm or something with big teeth. And it would bite into your chest. And then it would go into your chest. And you'd be looking like a normal person. But the wormy thing that bit you and went inside you is eating up and destroying everything. And then finally, when he ate up all your organs and sucked up all your blood, then he bursts from you and then your skin just falls away. Well, that's how the Tea Party did the Republican conservatives. Because they're stuck in a time that doesn't exist now. And they refuse to go into the future. So they are prey. They are prey. They don't want any advances because they want to live in that world where white men rule. That minorities and Africans in these countries will never wake up and finally take all their collective fingers and point it at them and handle them accordingly. So they want to stay in that world that they created. The world where I went to school, where everybody shocked, oh, they're not going to teach African American history. They didn't. Not until Black History Month. Why do you think it's so important? They didn't. You learned it on your own, or you learned bits and pieces from your family. And you just learn stuff like, oh, we was trying to buy this land, but we couldn't because you know it was white people. You know, or you had this land, but the white people took it away. You know, stories like that. But you didn't learn it. You had to ask yourself. And you have that, and it used to be Black History Week. And when that Black History Week came, you had to suck up all that knowledge, all that pride. And it would come at you so quickly and so fast. And now it's so much more that we're doing. So that's how the Tea Party did. And I want to make it clear because you young people, you got to be seeing it. You got to be seeing it. We can't stay in this state where you're constantly being attacked by people. You just trying to live. They kidnapped you and brought you here, and what the hell? Just won't stop. Won't stop. You don't do nothing to them, it doesn't matter. They ain't stopping. You do something to them, it don't matter. They ain't stopping. They do worse. You got to do like Funky Dineva. Funky Dineva said when people go low, he go to hell. You're lower. He's way lower than them. They just low. He all the way down in hell. So he's the lowest of the low. And to some extent, to deal with this, to this monster, I can't think of, if the movie was Sigourney Weaver. Alien! Alien! Y'all have to see how you alien these political parties. And push yourself up through. And use the Tea Party as an example. I know from when I was a child, the Republican Party was low. They were both low. Because we couldn't vote. But then one of the low ones, the Democrats, said, no, we're going to help you. The president said, listen, I'm going to protect your right to vote. So then the Republicans said, well, we're going to make sure they never vote. We're going to try to block them every which way we can. Duh. What the hell? The reason why we had to vote, because you was putting black code laws and Jim Crow law and if you're dark, don't walk on this side, the street laws, fuck shit like that. We had to get in there and start voting. Shit, y'all was going to put in place, if you see us, shoot us on sight. And make that a damn law. We had to get into the law to stop you from coming after us. And still ain't stopped. Just made the walls a little thicker in front of us, but they ain't stopped. And these politicians and with the aliens, with the Tea Party, I've never seen it. It's like if you, like a top YouTuber with fans can be supported by the GOPQ conservative code just because you have fans. You can give them what they want. That's it. You got money. Look at DeJoy. You got money. In the Republican Party, you can buy your way into positions. You don't have to be voted by the people. You got the money, you getting it. Look at DeJoy. Look at that Ben Carson from the housing debacle. Look at him. What they went in. Wrote a check. I've seen it done in the Democrats. We talk Republicans now. Democrats ain't trying to stop us from voting. But you gotta see, young people, African, the Black Panthers, they didn't see this. The Black Liberation Armies, they didn't see this. They didn't. The Puerto Rican Liberation Army, y'all been trying to get free Puerto Rico. Y'all got to see this crack here. And you got to see how to do it. The Tea Party done showed you. I was living in Mount Vernon when I heard the Tea Party. On my way out. So they had to be like 2007. We're all the way. And they were just a Tea Party. Then we watched as they started meshing in, because when it was just a Tea Party, it was everybody. African American, Hispanic, everybody. But then they found out they could get into the Republican Party. So then they started turning on us. Even at the rallies. We would be at the rallies, yeah, Tea Party, yeah, we want change, yeah, let's go. And then they started connecting with the Republican Party. And when you went back, they was talking racist shit. Where you were standing there with your mouth open like, wait a minute, how the hell, where was it, Westchester County? How in the hell did y'all turn against us so quickly? But they were worms, and they had already bit into the Republicans. And when you bite into Republicans, you got to take a bite of hate. That's why I know that Herschel Walker got CTE. He liked that character from Dave Chappelle's show. You remember the blind Ku Klux Klan guy? Who hated black people? Because he was blind, he didn't know what color he was. So he would used to go to the Ku Klux Klan rally and talk about hating black people. There's a book that George Charlotte wrote called Black No More. And every time I look at that shaved Dave Chappelle, in my heart I feel that he has read Black No More by George Charlotte. Very interesting man. He wasn't, and I couldn't understand why he came up in the Black Renaissance like J. California Cooper and Zora Hurston and all those other, but they couldn't get in. And I kept saying to myself, why wasn't he in the Black Renaissance? Why? And even they wrote about George. They said that George used to wake up and read the paper, and if the world was going one way, George went the other. I think he was a columnist. And I kept wondering, why weren't they in the Black Renaissance? What is going on where they can't be in the Black Renaissance? They're writers, and during that time, Well, I found out they weren't gay. They weren't gay. So that's why they weren't. Zora Neale and J. California Cooper. Zora Hurston got married. I know J. California Cooper had a daughter, don't mean that you're straight, but during that time. But George used to live up there on Sugar Hill. But he wrote the book Black No More. So when I think about, and then there was African Americans, when my mother came up, she came from the South, running towards a better education, a better way of life, but there were already African Americans up here who had generations ago come north and started their business. Some of them were born free, not enslaved. And they hated us more than any of the white people did. They hated us. Some looked at it as our chance, and they understood what it was and what we were going through. And the others was like, well, we're better than you. We're going to work with these white people to get rid of you. And sadly, that's still going on today. That's the Herschel Walkers. The Herschel Walkers say everybody don't need to vote. I can vote, my family vote. All black people don't need to vote. So you should go around closing up these voting polls. That's the black Republicans. I got money in the bank, but everybody shouldn't have money in the bank. Stop black people from getting money, putting money in the bank. That's how they are. Look at the history. That's how they are. And that's the Herschel Walkers, the Candace things. I don't know where she is. Wasn't that Candace? Oh, Candace. Oh, wait. I think she's still talking. Well, she'll be back to stand next to the orange one. Who doesn't look so orangey now. And the hair ain't looking as good as it was as president. So presidents have different stylists. I don't know. Joe Biden don't got no hair. Okay, he got little things of hair. But I imagine he don't spend as much money as 45 did on stylists. So, the Tea Party worm bit into a already worm. Or, the Tea Party was the alien monster that bit into the boa constrictor, and the boa constrictor represents the GOPQ / Conservative Party. And they bit into them because they don't want growth, they don't want nothing, all they want to tell is lies. The white men are the smartest in the whole world. The white men make the best things in the whole world. The white man is the best of everything. The white man is the greatest thing that ever lived. That's all they wanted. Science? It don't matter. As long as they can say, only white people cure everybody. Only white people cure everybody. Because that's what I was taught in school. And we still learning now. So they've been to that old, I said boa constrictor, I should say dinosaur. And now it's the Tea Party. But we don't say it too much. We keep saying GOP conservative because they're trying to act like they call the plant as an enslavement camp a fucking plantation. Oh, it's nice. It's a plantation. Oh, those people in chains. Those people in rags. Those people starving working in the fields. They just accessories. I will never say, besides this conversation, when I refer to it in the South, I will call it the enslavement camp, the enslavement compound. I'm not giving it that pretty bullshit white term with the white collar building. No. That was the big house of the encampment compound. Start calling it what the fuck it is. See, that's what I did. We're going to make it sound pretty. Oh, we're not going to talk about slavery being bad. We're going to say it's pretty. They like coming on picnics on the plantation, smelling the flowers. We be trying to get them darkies to get out of here. But they love to smell them flowers. So they said they stay and pick cotton and cut sugar. Ain't they the sweetest darkies you done ever met? They just love coming on the plantation doing free stuff for us. No, it's called an enslavement compound because that's what it was. What are y'all? Almost halfway through the walk. What are y'all?
I'm walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking. So happy to be walking. Happy to be walking. Thank you for the company. Walking, yes indeed, I'm walking. Oh yeah, just for me, I'm walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking. So happy to be walking. Happy to be walking. Thank you for the company. Walking, yes indeed, I'm walking. Oh yeah, just for me, I'm walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking.
Y'all know I drink a quart of this water before I even start the walk. I start sipping. Well, I don't sip, I gulp. But it takes me 3 gulps. I got time in the morning. Oh, let's see what it is. This is what I put it in because it's my alkaline water from the sink. But when I run out of containers, I go back and buy the alkaline water so I can use the alkaline water containers. And y'all know, I put a little tip of lemon. I put a little tip of lemon in mine. I put a little tip of lemon in my water. Yes. So, that's what I want y'all to get through. To get through to y'all like a worm. I've been wanting to talk about this for a long time. I mean, it's just going to be in the video, and then I see myself getting older, like, and wanting to be motivated, and I can either watch my walks here or on my external hard drives. But I've been wanting to talk about this. When I started working in Greenwich, Connecticut, I couldn't, they all were rich, but they didn't have expensive cars. I imagine today they would have the Broncos and all that stuff, all that American-made brand. But then they only bought American-made cars. Ford, Mercurys, Lincolns. And like I said, a lot of them were old. And I was taking care of their kids. A lot of them had alcohol fetal syndrome. And it was, they would say stuff like, I'm not buying no Jack car. I'll never give them my money. And I didn't understand why. I really didn't. And they said it was such venom. So you know they didn't take their stuff to the Japanese laundromat. There's nothing, and I couldn't understand it. And then I started going across, we didn't have YouTube then, went to the library, and I started coming across books on World War II, but I read the World War II more from the German side and not the Japanese side and their invasion and going in Korea and how they really tortured the Europeans horribly. And of course, look at Hawaii. So I was like, oh, after I read that, I was like, oh, okay. So the Japanese basically was treating y'all worse because they was killing them and putting them in rat-infested waters and all kind of stuff and starving them and making them do a whole bunch of things, especially if you were a prisoner of war. They were horrible to you. Just like they are now. And that generation that fought in that war, they was not going to buy Japanese, Asian, Koreans, Chinese cars. They wasn't going to buy them. And I remember thinking to myself, when they would talk about Asians and how they're going to buy this and all this stuff, because I don't know how to have any contact with them, other than when I was a child. In East New York, mostly Koreans, a couple Chinese. But they would go on, and I remember when I would hear them, I would say to myself, well, I know they say worse about me when I ain't here. That's the first thing that would come to my mind when I would be hearing them tearing up the Asians. And I would say to myself, whew, they must really talk about me when I'm gone. I know they tear up African Americans. I know it. But in front of me, they're going after the Asians. So I was so surprised when all the news started saying African Americans hate Asians. African Americans beat up Asians. African Americans going after Asians. And I'm like, well, where the hell did this come from? We ain't had no contact with them too much other than when the Koreans started opening up the markets and the hair salons in the African American community and following us around and cussing us out and doing shit like that. But they know what they was doing. So maybe the Japanese and the Chinese are getting upset. But trust me, the Koreans know what the fuck they did as far as dealing with us is concerned. And they totally understand the attitude. I was in Bed-Stuy when that Korean farmers, they started opening them all over the place. And I would go in, and that was a big beef on Fulton Avenue. They would follow you from the time you walk in the door. Right on you. All of a sudden you're looking at something, somebody zoom up next to you. Oh, this is not, you want to get this? You want about, this cash register. I mean, following you. I laughed when I first saw how they did in California. They own the stores and how they did African Americans in the store. Buy something, buy something, buy something. So I said, oh my gosh, they just went crazy everywhere on us. So let's remember that. Look at your Korean brothers and sisters, because y'all ain't together in the real world. But that's what they did with us. A lot of us don't know the difference between a Korean, a Chinese, or a Japanese. Filipino, and on and on and on. Can't tell the difference. Don't want to find out the difference. Don't want to look. Don't want to see. Don't want to just throw it all in one bag. But the ones that hate you the most and that can do the most to you ain't us. It's not us. It's the people, them Japanese people put in concentration camp, those white Americans and them white, Brits. Okay? They couldn't stand you, and I was in their house. They would never buy a car. They wouldn't even order. Nothing was from China, Japan, or nothing in the whole freaking house. They didn't put them in the house. But you ain't going to talk about them. You're going to talk about, see, that's the problem. You ain't going to say, well, we fucked up, the Koreans fucked up, they did go after you when they first came here, and they did go after you. And we'll say, hey, cool. But you say, well, we have no idea, blah, blah, blah. We're not. We can't really do nothing to you. The ones that's doing something to you is the white people that you grin in their face all the time. They can't stand you. They remember that war, as they call it. Because I used to sit there saying, what? And I spend a whole lot of my time saying, I know they talk about me when I leave here. I know. They can't wait for me to go to tear me up the way they tearing up these Asians. I knew it. Never had, listen, one thing, they always spoke highly of the Hispanics. Always. Always, always. The Europeans always talk highly of the Hispanics. Them Asians, they couldn't find a good thing to say about them. And would not throw their money behind them. So stop this narrative. We know who's over the white people. So they're not going to go on themselves. They're not going to trace that history like I just told you. Their grandparents. Grab a book. Look what the Japanese did to them. They don't know the difference. But because we don't own the papers, the narrative is black people don't like Asians. Not since World War II, white people have hated Asians and gone after them every chance they get, blocked their businesses and everything. And Asians are so proud, they are not going to say. Right now, they just don't say, they're discriminating against them. Please. Never had a problem with an Asian. Even when they follow me in the store. Matter of fact, Let me tell you the type of person I am. And anybody know me, even when I said the type of person I am, for people who know me, if they're looking at this walk, they're laughing because they know where I'm coming from. I go into the store, and if I don't see anybody next to me, I start screaming, "Where's your sales help? You know you want to follow me. Start now, because I don't know what I want. I want to talk to somebody." All of a sudden, I go into the Asian store. Hair bar, they start scattering. Come here, I said, come here, show me this. Well, what do you got like this in something? I know there's another brand, show me that. Every time I turn around, they disappearing. Where you at? You know you want to follow me. I ain't got no problem with you following me. But while you follow me, help me out. I go to Macy's. Where's the sales lady here? I know y'all got cameras and stuff, but follow me here where I can get some help. I ain't running from you. I know I see you for what you are and who you are. I told you that security guard got fired at John Wanamaker. Every time a black boy, man, one would enter the store, the code would go out. Black person in the store. And all the security's going. And the security guard came up one time. He thought they was his friends. And he said, "I don't know why y'all following around all these black people. Who you should be following is the old ladies, the little old ladies with the big bags." They fired him. They know the little old ladies with the big bags be stealing. That ain't they. Sometimes they buy, sometimes they steal. They're willing to take that chance. But they're not willing to take a chance on an African American. So that code goes out from the time they walk through. So I learned. When I go, I say, "Hey, who over here? Who over here? Get here now. I got questions." Don't try to follow me from afar. Don't leave it on your cameras. Come now, because I got some questions for you. Let's get this party started right on my terms. And then they keep saying to me, "Okay, you all right?" And I'm like, "No, I ain't all right. Where you going?" "This way, you know I ain't stealing nothing." "He stay your ass here." "What size is that? You got it in a different color?" "I don't know. We haven't met. You got it in the back? Y'all got stuff in the back? Go look." "I'll be right here. I ain't stealing nothing. I'll be standing here when you get back." Don't take too long. I may have to call your supervisor. You ain't got to follow me. I welcome the company. But, getting back to Asia. That narrative. Now, I know in some Caribbean countries, they have a closer association with Chinese, because a lot of the Chinese did go to the Caribbean islands and stuff, and they have a closer hate relation. We as African Americans, we ain't that close to you. We don't know. We don't live in Chinatown. A lot of them have never visited Chinatown. We don't know. If Koreans or Chinese did not come in our neighborhood and set up a building, we wouldn't know. If there wasn't a Chinese restaurant in Brooklyn where we live, we wasn't going to Chinatown to get no food. Hell, we always been buying wigs and stuff, not from Koreans, from our beauticians and stuff. So we would never think to go to Chinatown to get wigs. But you came into our community to get our money. And when you started misbehaving, we'll put you in your place. But that don't mean we hate you. But why he's putting up that narrative? Because who owns social media? Who owns the press? Who owns all that stuff? So they put out that narrative. And the Herschel Walkers that's in the press, long as they can get their check, as long as they can be the only black in the whole country club, they'll say, yeah, they hate Asians. But that's not true. We don't have enough contact with them to like or hate. Like I said, you come in the community, you open a business, you talk shit to us, you get put in your fucking place, it don't mean we hate you. It just means you're going to be put in your place. Now the white people that your ancestors fucked with in World War II, they ain't stopped hating you yet, because they ain't stopped hating us, and they came and kidnapped us and brought us here, and they ain't stopped hating us yet. So we know they ain't stopped hating y'all. You done blew up their ships and everything. Why you think they ain't had no problem dropping an atomic bomb on you? A couple of them. They hate you. They even have a black person in the camp pit when the atomic bombs was dropped. How the hell can we hate you more than them? That's fucking impossible. Stop the dumb narrative. We don't have Asian hate. We don't have that much interaction to have it. And apparently, the Asians don't feel that way because they ain't closed none of their businesses in our neighborhood. If they were so upset about the Asian hate, they still opening businesses in African American communities. So the narrative is being said by the people who dropped the atomic bomb on Japan. Who hates Asian? Who dropped the atomic bomb? That's who hates Asian. Stop blaming African Americans. Stop the bullshit. Stop the bullshit. Stop the lies. We buy Korean, Chinese, Japanese cars all the time. They don't. They don't like you. No, they hate you. That's why they don't throw their money at you. So this narrative about African Americans hating Asians is a lie. The truth ain't nowhere in it. I'll say again, you open your shops in our neighborhood, we welcome you. You spit in our face, we will fuck you up and try to close you down. That ain't hate. That's just how it gotta be handled. If you bring your business in our neighborhood and you're nice and decent to us, we'll continue to spend money with you. And we ain't got no problem. Because we ain't come to your house for dinner. We don't even know where you live. And if there's a lot of you, of anybody, we don't want to live there either. As quiet as it can. African Americans like living around African Americans. Don't tell nobody. We do. Ooh. Let's get these fingers exercises going. Yeah. Whew. So, get so sick of hearing that. So sick of reading about that. No, we don't have no Asian hate. We don't know you enough to hate you. Very few of us have ever traveled to an Asian country ever. So how do we know to hate you? But guess who travels to Asian countries all the time? So who would know you enough to hate you? Not us. Stop the shit. The narrative. They always making up some damn story. Oh, blacks never did nothing. Blacks never invented nothing. Blacks don't never do nothing. Blacks is lazy. Blacks is stupid. Blacks can't learn. Enough already. They'll buy German. They'll buy Swiss. They'll buy everybody and everything except any Asian car. Japanese, Korean, Chinese. They're not buying it. So who hates you? Koreans don't have half as many stores in white neighborhoods as African American neighborhoods. And who hates you? The one, let me see. The one that keeps you out their neighborhood so you can't get their money. Now, do they like you? Do they hate you? Let me see. They don't allow you to open businesses in their community because, oh, they don't like you. Now, there's a group that lets you open businesses in their community and gives you their money, shops there. Oh, that's us. We don't hate you. We shop in your stores. Let me tell y'all right fast about the little Korean shop that used to be on Greenwich Avenue. We used to go there. They had the freshest everything. The freshest everything. Everything. They were Koreans. Everybody loved them. You go there early in the morning and get your marketing done on Greenwich Avenue. I could tell that it wasn't going to be long because Greenwich didn't want no fresh vegetables on Greenwich Avenue. Greenwich like going to Whole Foods to get their fresh vegetables. And if they want to go to a Korean market, they'll go to Portchester. Tuck in your elbow. That's New York State. Tuck in your elbow. Let's do 10. Neither up nor down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See? So that Korean market, they got rid of it. It was against the decor. Now the fishmonger, he was right there. Smell like fish. They got rid of the Koreans because it messed up their decor, but the smell of fish you think would mess up their decor more. They didn't get rid of the fishmonger until many years later. Let's do 10, neither up nor down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 1 for good luck. I never saw a hair place in Greenwich. You either had to go to Portchester or Stafford because they did not allow them to open up those types of businesses in Greenwich. They remember World War II, but we hate. No, we ain't hate because we let you open businesses in our neighborhood and we spend money on you, and they don't let you open up businesses. So who you really think don't like you? Oh, you see now, African Americans don't hate you. It's the people drop the bombs that hate you. Stop getting it twisted. Y'all letting that.
Walking, yes indeed, I'm walking.
We did it, y'all. We did it a whole week.
Thank you for the I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking. So happy to be walking, happy
Ooh.
to be walking.
At least I said I can go on record saying it. Ha! Nobody heard me. Nobody hears me. Nobody knows. But I'm putting it out there. I tell you, never had a bad word to say about an Asian ever in my whole life. Neither have my daughter. Neither has a family member. We don't have that kind of connections with you. That was a chat. Now the gulp. Or the gulp should have came first. Yeah. You guys have a good weekend. It is nice and cool. I feel that breeze coming through. Yeah. I tell you, there's this Caribbean restaurant that makes some really good liver, but so much oil. And since looking at my village people in Nepal and seeing how they can use a teaspoon of oil and do everything, girl. I don't want the grease no more. I know you don't have to cook with a lot of grease like that. And you can make the food taste good. I wasn't ready. That's when it goes down the wrong way. Okay. Yes, indeed. I'm walking. Yes, I'm walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking. So happy to be walking. Happy to be walking. Thank you for the company. Boy, I'm having a whole lot of disco lights issues with the Facebook video. Yeah. You know, we don't walk on the weekends no more. That's why we walk 45 minutes a day. And then, you know, we take holidays off. That's why we walk 45 minutes a day. I had to get smart about this walking, honey. As I got older, and in age, a year or two is a big difference. A huge difference. Yes, indeed, I'm walking. Yes, I'm walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking. So what goes down, the gas comes up, the air. Thank you for the company. Yes, indeed. I'm walking. Yes, I'm walking. Thank you for the company. Yeah, y'all. Thanks for coming on the walk. I always forget to say like, comment, share, subscribe. And they said if you don't say that throughout your whole thing, you don't get no like, comments, and subscribers. So now at least I know what the problem is. I had a great week, and I hope you did too. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. I appreciate you.